If your ex is a good person, but has treated you like shit in your relationship, and all your friends and family are telling you like, hey, drop this person, and you know that deep down they're a good person, and there's something about them that's promising, but they just haven't quite lived up to what they needed to live up to in the relationship, watch this video. So when your person isn't coming through for you in the relationship, there's lots of ways that can happen, right? There's ways that it can happen in a bad way, like, your ex is a narcissist, or, your ex is abusive or something like that. But I'm not talking about those scenarios. In the scenario where they just not giving you enough, they're not putting in enough effort, they don't seem to be connecting with you emotionally enough, they seem to be distant and this kind of a thing, there's an explanation for it. And let me tell you what it is. So if they've experienced emotional neglect in childhood, really what's going to happen is they're going to have no frame of reference for what proper communication looks like and what a good relationship should look like. And the other thing is that they haven't built up the neural pathways. The brain hasn't formed in such a way that encourages emotional intelligence. Why? Because practice makes perfect. And if you're not practicing with your family in your childhood, to no fault of your own, right? More towards your parents. But if that's not happening, the bottom line is it's not happening and the tools aren't there. And it's these conditions that form the dismissive avoidant attachment style. The dismissive avoidant attachment style is an insecure attachment style in the sense that your ex or your person has been wounded by this emotional neglect, and therefore they're going to show up in an insecure manner in the relationship. What's that going to look like? They're going to tell you that they're not good enough for you, that they can't give you what you need. They're going to keep themselves at arm's length in the relationship emotionally. They're going to avoid conflict like the plague because they never had enough attention from their family to even get into conflict per se. A lot of times the family environment can look like this thing where it's like nobody ever talks about anything, or sometimes it can look really, really bad. Like maybe the parents were strung out on drugs and then, the kid was floating around in foster care or whatever the case is. But whatever the environment, they didn't get what they needed. And that's causing hyper independence. It's causing a fear of commitment. It's causing poor communication skills. And eventually they're going to get overwhelmed in the relationship by not setting boundaries. And they're going to feel like they need to kind of break up with you just to get away from the issues. And it's going to feel like it's out of the blue to you simply because they weren't communicating with you at every little step of the way, telling you that there was things that needed to change. And so the really confusing part about it is that, your ex is a good person. You can feel deep down inside they actually care about you. They're sad because they can't give you what you need. That's how they feel. Somebody that's a narcissist doesn't care that they're not giving you what you need. But a dismissive avoidant is sad about it, and you can feel this. You can feel that they're a good person. The time that you had together, you spent getting to know them and you love them.